Hi, this is Sharon of the Shared Light Collective, and this morning I woke up with a subject in my mind. I don't know why, but it felt that it might be of service to share what I know on this subject. So, the subject is fears. We've all had them, we think we know what they are. But I want to do a bit of a deeper dive into the understanding, because I believe that if we understand things more deeply, then we are empowered to make powerful choices about them. So I had a really good friend many years ago who once said to me, but Sharon, this is a real fear. And I looked at her and I said, I'm really sorry. I understand that it's a subject that is really important to you, but there is no such thing as a real fear. Fears by their very nature are not real. We may feel that they're real, but they're not. And so let's have a look at why. So first of all, I think we can all agree that while fears exist in our minds, they don't exist in reality. You can't point to a fear and say, oh, look at that fear over there. You might be able to pick up on an energetic experience when someone is experiencing fear, but the fear itself, the cause of the fear, you can't really point to, because it doesn't exist outside of the mind. Now, the mind is a very clever tool that us humans have, and it has a lot of very great benefits, but the benefits come from whatever you've put into it. So whatever you have inputted is of use. Your mind utilizes whatever that input is throughout your life, conscious or unconsciously, and it uses it to make choices. So, for example, if you are asked to stand up and give a speech in front of a group of people, that's one of most people's biggest fears. So yes, let's use that as an example. Your mind will run through all it knows in a very short amount of time. It's a very fast supercomputer, and it will run through all it knows about public speaking. And it can only go to the information that you have inputted consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously. If you've never heard of public speaking or you've never done it, you have a very different response to the subject. And so your response that your mind makes is purely based on experience and input. So if you've had a positive experience from doing it in the past, someone might say, would you like to do a bit of public speaking? You jump up because you've had a positive experience. Your mind doesn't think anything differently of it, and off you go. But if you've had a negative experience, or you have heard about others having negative experiences, then your mind does something very different. It tags negative experiences, whether you've had it or you've heard about it, and it tags it as something to be careful for. The reason being, our mind has a safety mechanism built in to keep us from danger. That used to be lions and tigers, oh my. But now that's just uncomfortable life experiences. So your mind will tag anything it considers negative to warn you of something that may happen that may be negative. Now, if you've had a positive experience, you don't have that tagging system in place. You just go, oh, that sounds great, I'll do that. But if you have anything in your mind, inputted or experience-wise, it tends to tag it. And it's for your safety. So we can't give it too hard a time over it. But the problem is, it kind of runs a bit amok. The system can kind of go into a bit of overdrive. Anything that seems like it might be negative, or it may have a discomfort to it, our minds have got a bit overly sensitive. It's not really danger anymore. Negative experiences or even uncomfortable experiences are part of life. That's how we grow. But the mind wants to give us a little heads up. It wants to give us a warning. So really, what the mind is doing is making a choice for us. And that choice is based on experience and input. And it says, oh, I've heard negative things about that. It might be uncomfortable. Oh, that might not work out well, or it might have a negative ending. And so it's warning you, but it's a guess. And this is the most important thing to understand about fears, is that it's a guess of what may happen. It doesn't know. It cannot predict, but it's trying to predict. Our minds are predictors. So it's predicting negative ideas into the future. If you've had a positive experience, it'll project positive ideas into the future. But if you haven't had any experience of it, it'll just take what is inputted. And if the input is, most people don't like public speaking, you'll have a negative one. So it's really doing a prediction. It's a guess. Now, when it's in its positive form and not a fear-based form, what happens is your mind says, what shall I do on this particular subject? It scans through all its experience in this lifetime, and it comes out with some answers. And then you can choose from that selection of answers. But if there is a negative experience possible, your mind likes to predict and give you all the different scenarios that are negative. And it doesn't actually offer you a positive one. It doesn't say, oh, of all the range of experiences you can have, it might go badly, it might be a bit embarrassing, you might feel uncomfortable, you might not be looked on favorably. It doesn't then give you also, it might go well. So it's a prediction of negative outcomes. But what do we often find with our fears? They don't often come to fruition. They're a fear. We worry about it in some cases. If you're a worrier, you may worry about for the duration while you're waiting for an event. And then you get the answer to how that event has occurred. And then you can drop that fear. Now, do you need to worry while you're waiting? No. You can have a fear, be aware of that fear, and realize that it is just a fear, and you do not need to follow it. You can acknowledge it, you can accept that it exists, but then you can let it go and then just wait for the outcome and see what happens. Now, your mind works from experience, and it takes everything you experience and it notes it. So most people should by now be able to recognize that you had a fear, it didn't come to fruition, actually things worked out fine. You can let that fear go, you can let that worry go, and that's the end of it. Right? Until there's a next time. And now the next time you say, well, last time I had a fear and it didn't come to fruition. Why am I worried about the same subject again? And it really, your mind should be using it as experience to say, it didn't come to fruition, it's fine, I don't need to worry about it now. But, and this is the thing, our minds like to hold on to A, negativity, and B, things that still cause us fear. So I kind of call fears uneducated guesses. An educated guess was you would have a fear and it actually came to fruition, but 99.9% of the time your fear never comes to fruition. Therefore, it's an uneducated guess. And do you really want to spend your life bothered and causing internal suffering over an uneducated guess? Why don't we just start calling them uneducated guesses? Now, when we have a negative experience, or we have negative inputted into our minds, there is a couple of solutions actually that are quite easy. So I want to offer those. One is that one of the easiest, and they're kind of related, but one of the easiest ways to dissolve a fear is to say you want what it is you're afraid of. This sounds a bit silly, but on some cases it works. Public speaking it works. If you're afraid of something else, some things it doesn't work. But this one is a very good one for things where you're anticipating a negative outcome, but it's fine, like public speaking. So it's very easy in reality to have a fear identify it. So this is the thing. Do you have to kind of know it's a fear? So you have to identify, oh, look, I'm scared about something. I've got a fear. Now it's turning into a worry. A worry is just an elongated fear. So what can we do when we have an identified fear? It's one of the easiest things to do is to say we want it. Because, and this is the cool thing, is that when we want something, what is really a want? A want is a desire. What's really a desire? Where does that come from? Does it come from the mind? Well, some desires come from the mind, but it comes from the heart. And so you say, I really want to do it. I really want to do the public speaking. I really want to see how it's going to pan out. I would like the experience of it. It's going to do me some good. Even if it goes not so positively, it's still a learning experience, and it'll give me some experience so that next time I do it, it will be easier. In those cases where you can say, I want this, not that I'm scared of it, you acknowledge it, you can acknowledge there's a fear there, but you can say, I want to go ahead and I want to do it. That is instructing your mind to declassify the fear as something as a want instead. And when it declassifies it from something scary to something you want, it changes how your mind responds to your thoughts around it. So I give you a very quick example, skydiving. I really wanted to go skydiving. This is many years ago, and I signed up for it. And the night of my skydive, before my skydiving event, tandem skydiving, my mind started to run through all the worst case scenarios. Your chute won't open, you'll crash to the ground, you'll die. And I kind of had to stop it was in my sort of, as I was falling off to sleep, and I had to stop my mind and say, shush, I want to do it. I've really wanted to always do it. I want the experience of it. I like the idea of flying through the air. This is going to be my only opportunity. Stop bothering me. I want to do it. And they disappeared. And so this is the thing. Want because love is based on love, neutralizes it from a fear to a desire, and therefore it changes how your mind and your thoughts respond. And the second way of doing it is a very connected way, and it's very simple. Your mind, and this is a recognition more than anything else, your mind can only know what you've inputted. It only knows and it only holds what you have inputted in this one lifetime. It is a collection of experiences, conscious, subconscious, unconscious, of your experiences, what you've inputted in. But it doesn't know a lot. Therefore, even if you've inputted it a lot and you think you're quite clever, it's inputted. By comparison, it's not really inputted very much because it's only in one lifetime at the age at which you are. However, your mind is limited by this. Therefore, it has to guess. And this is where fears come from. It's having to guess because it doesn't really know. It's an uneducated guess. But you have another part of you that is wiser, that is not limited by this lifetime, that has access to many more things without limitation, and that is your heart. So whether you call it your heart, your soul, your spirit, whatever, it's the alternative to the mind brain. There's a heart brain or a soul brain, if you like. And it is connected to all the information in the universe. It is connected to, it is not restricted by distance or time, or linear time as our minds are. And therefore, if you were to have the same conversation on the same subject with your mind and with your heart, you would get a very different answer. And you have to figure out which one is more trustworthy. The one that is limited, the one that is scaring the shit out of you with a fear, an uneducated guess, or your heart that actually knows the answer. It knows it. Therefore, because time is not linear and it can go back and forth, and it knows a lot more things than your mind does because it's not based on what you've inputted in this singular lifetime, it can give you a better answer. And it's very simple. All you have to do is move your attention from where all your thoughts are up in your brain, and you bring your attention down through the body and let it rest in your heart space, and then ask from here. Now, that's a knowing answer, and many spiritual traditions talk about it. It's a knowing answer rather than a guess. And therefore, there's no fear there. The fear is from the mind because it's guessing and it doesn't know the outcome. The heart knows the outcome and it can give you a beautiful answer. It can give you reassurance. It can give you many things. It can give you information you didn't realize you had access to. And this is where we can really move from a mind and fears to heart and knowing. So that is the second way of doing things. It's much quieter, the heart, than the mind. The mind is quite noisy. It's very fast moving. It tends to throw out a lot of crap. The heart is quieter, so you have to quiet yourself down and bring yourself down into your heart space. It's softer. But when you hear the answer, and you can try it by asking them, say, our mind, give me an answer, heart, give me an answer. You can tell the quality difference in the answers. And the heart won't give you fear. So it's a much more peaceful place. That's why all spiritual traditions focus on the heart, not on the mind. It's a peaceful answer. It's a knowing answer. It is a better educated answer because it is connected to the world's, not just what you've put into your mind, not just to what exists in the current world, but it has a much more universal understanding, and therefore you are better equipped to follow that. So that's my roundup on fears. I hope it is useful. I just felt the urge to talk about it today in case it's of service, and I hope it is. If you like it, please let me know. If it's useful, please let me know. I hope it is. And that's me done for today.